Hey guys, it's Chris Hardwick, Aisha Tyler, CJ here with our SDCC wrap-up panel special. I'm here with Nick.
Hey guys.
And Luke.
What's up?
And of course McKinley.
Oh, this is actually John Campia! No, I'm just kidding.
You're John Campia. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, AMC Movie Talk Collider Videos.
Oh,
yes,
God.
Of course. Oh, dear. Well, let's try not to make any enemies here, fellas. So, of course, we're here to talk about one thing and one thing only, which was actually a lot of things that happened at an absolutely insane San Diego Comic-Con weekend. We were talking about this beforehand, and I think, there's a natural kind of growth to these things, especially SDCC has grown into... I don't want to say like a literal shit show because I feel like that could be taken negatively, but it's just kind of like positive pandemonium. But I think even if you set aside the growth and all things being equal, this was probably like the busiest year ever, even without Marvel there. Huge presence from DC, both TV and movie. Huge presence from Fox, and then you had a bunch of comic stuff going on, kind of in the background. But
yeah, I like how you and then there was that comic stuff, in the back.
And then there was
whatever.
Yeah, the thing that was in the title, the thing that's the reason it's called a Comic-Con, was just there. So guys, let's actually just get started with your initial thoughts on the con as a whole. Nick was actually there, and I promised the people that we would talk about this. So Nick, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on actually being in San Diego? What was the mood?
Well, for first things first, the weather was amazing that day. It wasn't too hot. It was pretty. It had a nice breeze to it, and I got to
jealous.
Yeah, I got to meet a lot of people. I got some cool sketches done. I got all kinds of stuff happened that day. It was really eventful, and it's just it's cool going to San Diego. It's literally probably the biggest pop culture convention that we have now, and it's just so cool.
Absolutely.
Just being able to see the fans there and the creators and all that kind of stuff, and just being there, being on deck for all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. So yeah, it's awesome.
10 out of 10 would attend.
Yes,
again.
definitely.
And if you would like to direct your jealous hate mail anywhere, Nick lives at 113. No, I'm kidding. You can just email us. I'm doxing you, motherfucker. But no, McKinley and Luke, what were your thoughts on SDCC?
You first.
Well, I'm just gonna say, I wasn't at Comic-Con. I was at my computer looking at tweets, just seeing the news that was coming in. But from what I could tell, this was probably, we had kind of discussed this before, this was probably one of the biggest that we've ever had, just because of there was just this huge sort of expectations that were going into it, since, as everyone should know by now, Marvel kind of bowed out. Marvel Studios, anyway. Marvel Comics was there, but no one knows this, that they're focused on movies. But they kind of bowed out, so everyone was very expectant towards people like Fox, people like Warner Brothers, all the other sort of studios that are bringing their A game. And I gotta tell you, I think because of that expectations, and I think just because of what we got, some of the things that I wasn't expecting, I would say this is probably one of the most explosive. I feel like, I don't want to say biggest, but this was definitely one of the most explosive, just from what I'm hearing and just what Nick was telling us while he was there. Apparently the roof was shaken several times, and I believe it was on fire at one point, but that was just all the hype that was going on.
I think, from what I can gather, the sometime between, I don't know if it was after the BVS trailer or if it was the Suicide Squad trailer, but there was some serious, Ark of the Covenant has opened shit going down. So, McKinley, do you want to give us your thoughts?
Okay, well, my thoughts were, the minute I asked Nick what time it all starts, he said it was 10:30 in the morning, I was up, 2-hour difference, I was up and ready all day on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, trying to convince Nick to leak something. It was not even being there. I could just feel the energy going through the internet into me as I was just waiting for the Batman v Superman news. That's what everyone was waiting for. I mean, whenever Nick was telling me how it started off with all the little Pan and what else was there? It was Pan and
Man
Uncle.
from Uncle was there.
Man from Uncle, yeah. And all everyone was ready for was just Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman. And the minute that trailer got put up, oh my god, that.
I mean,
yeah,
it was really funny to kind of watch if you were following on Twitter like I was. I was actually staying tuned to the Heroic Hollywood feed, but I mean, it's kind of funny. You could tell because looking at Twitter as a whole, everybody that was there was like waiting for WB DC, waiting for this, not excited for Pan. Man from U.N.C.L.E. looks pretty good, but whatever. And there was kind of sparse tweeting, and then once the DC panel started, it was like tweet, and then there was silence for 3.5 minutes while the BVS trailer rolled.
Well, they did that for the Fox panel too. They started off with all this random, stuff nobody's like there for, and then they're like, okay, now the Deadpool thing's here. Okay.
Exactly, and then everybody just shat themselves. But no, we should probably jump into talking about the actual panels itself, and we're going to talk about, of course, this is the DC podcast, the DC panel. So, yeah, I mean, we've already kind of talked about your impressions of Comic-Con as a whole. I would say they're probably very similar for the DC panel, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, yeah.
Awesome. Of course, the biggest things to come out were the trailers, which were incredible. I think it's kind of funny. The BVS one, they leaked right away.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you guys think about that BVS trailer?
Epic.
Yeah.
Epicness. One word.
I was talking to my other people on Twitter and in chats and everything, saying I don't throw the word beautiful around a lot, but I've watched that trailer, I would say, about 10 times now, and I think beautiful is the only word to really describe it. And just that trailer comes on, and every time I watch it, I can't even joke about something that's in the trailer. Normally, I just point at something like, oh, that's stupid. But I'm silent every time I see it because, I don't know, there's just something. It's very powerful. It's very, it's the kind of trailer that you put out where it's like, okay, everybody has been, naysaying this project. It's time to show them what we're giving them. And this definitely showed it. And you
don't even need another trailer after this. Just wait till the movie's out.
Yeah, it's all I need.
That's actually how I feel.
And it's
because it's really funny. I was just gonna say there were a lot of people that weren't super convinced after the first teaser. And I mentioned in the breakdown that they did a lot of kind of rectifying the teaser in this trailer, but I've seen pretty much universally positive reaction from this trailer.
Oh yeah. And again, it's not just because the trailer was just so powerful and just kind of everything that was in it. It was just the idea that this thing has so many things in it that I didn't expect. It has so many new plot detail. We essentially know, the whole premise of the movie, whereas before we had no idea why Batman was going after Superman. This one actually did its job where it tells us what the movie is. And I think that's a step above the teaser, but then it just adds, way more just kick-ass imagery and just all around just great stuff.
It's cool too because it shows you all the story beats, but it doesn't even show you exactly what the plot will be. It's introducing all these things, but you don't know how they're all going to fit together. It's kind of you know everything, but you don't really know everything.
Oh yeah.
So
yes, it's throwing questions at your face. Looking at all the different locations in that trailer make you wonder, how does it get from there to there? From a desert to back to Gotham to, I'm assuming, well, of course Metropolis, but all the different locations that were there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Red Sun vision thing.
Yeah. And it's it's definitely in a way, because kind of what McKinley said, it shows you all these different places, and it shows you kind of stepping all around the place, and it's just making you wonder where stuff takes place, because there's a scene, I think, after the whole Alfred Cruel line, then we see people being branded by bat symbols, and wait, what's this? Where is this? And then we have reports going on of Clark Kent taking on the Batman, and then it just jumps everywhere, and it just makes me so interested to see where all these things are going to take place and where all these pieces of the puzzle fit. And
exactly. I was going to use a puzzle analogy as well. They gave you the puzzle box, but with 6 pieces, and they saved the other 94 for the rest of the movie.
And I just want to see your guys' ideas on this real quick, because this is the one negative I've heard about the trailer, and I don't know why it's a negative. And I'm completely sold on Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, but no one else seems to be from this trailer, and I don't understand why.
I'm gonna let everyone else go first, because I feel like I don't think it's remotely too much for me to say that I probably, if people watching have been following this channel for a while, I have a strong track record. So you guys go, please, first.
Well, it seems like the Luthor in this version is more reminiscent of Birthright and the Secret Origin Luthor, where he's a lot younger, and it seems like they're also making him more of like this bratty kind of like millionaire that's like really privileged, and then this godlike being comes down and kind of takes his spotlight away. Like he's kind of like, oh, like I don't like him, and I'm gonna start like this smear campaign against him. So I think he'll be cool. He'll be kind of pulling the strings in the background, like corrupting people and manipulating them against Superman. So I'm excited for it.
Right. McKinley, you go first, because again, I said like I like it, but there's like a big reason why I do. But well, my whole thing is that and I think it's this one line because I just like the way he says it, and no one else seems to like it. It's the whole Red Capes line where he's like, "The Red Capes are coming," and it's like, no one seems to like it. It's like, oh, it's said so stupid. It's like it's said so silly, and I'm like, the whole point of that line is because he's not taking them seriously, because why would he? He's Lex Luthor. Sees himself as above these two kind of people, like this Batman and this god like Superman, to the point where everyone's seen as a big deal, and Lex Luthor is like, what are you talking about? They're just two idiots that I can totally beat, like just by myself. They're not even a threat to me.
I actually, if I can interject, I think they kind of used that line in the trailer to kind of, being, kind of emblematic of, I guess, the age of superheroes is coming, I guess you could say. But I actually think that that's more of a direct reference, and it'll actually be in reference to something different entirely in the movie. I think, my guess is that Luthor, we see these people that are running around with Superman patches on their arms, this military, and my guess is that this is a, kind of a militia or something that is using Superman's iconography and name for its own purposes and doing things kind of quote-unquote in his name that are just horrific, terrible things, and he doesn't like it. And that's why I think that desert sequence is actually him and Batman and Wonder Woman maybe even teaming up to kind of take this group down. But I think, the redcoats are coming is, a famous line referencing, it's Paul Revere, I believe, the British military. And so I think this would be the Red Capes are coming, is this militia group using Superman's branding, I guess you could say. But I think, maybe they're started by Luthor or something like that.
So that's interesting. But like...
Yeah, probably one of my favorite things, though, from the trailer is the Jason Todd thing. That was just so awesome to see that costume with
the Robin pull.
Over it.
I've been having debates with people back and forth who keep telling me that, oh, it's not Jason Todd's outfit. I'm like, that is Jason Todd's outfit. So we need to settle this right now. That is Jason Todd's outfit, right? It is definitely his.
It looks very similar. Yeah.
Okay. McKinley's doubting.
Yeah, see... Well, of course we know from those set photos that we have reason to doubt, but also not even just by appearance. I don't even think by appearance it's Jason Todd's outfit. It looks like Tim Drake's outfit. Yeah, actually, but even just going off the theory, I think it's Dick Grayson. If you saw those set photos. I don't want it to be. Trust me, I do not want it to be.
Dick Grayson's the new Joker.
I don't want that theory to be either. But it's...
like, my only thing... Like, I just want to feel like with McKinley, because he said with, like, Dick Grayson. My only thing is that there's so many avenues that they can go with this if it's Dick Grayson or Jason Todd, to the point where, like, I look at it and people are like, it's very reminiscent of Jason Todd's outfit. And then I just keep looking at it and I just keep thinking, it's just a Robin outfit. Like, it's ambiguously a Robin outfit. I'm not sure which Robins it is.
I honestly feel like that's how the movie's going to treat it. I would be shocked if the movie goes the route of, yes, there was more than one Robin. I would be completely shocked if it's the case where they actually address that he's had multiple Robins. I feel like the film kind of would view it as more powerful if the one time he had a sidekick, sidekick died. And that could, come back as, whether, I'm sure they'll call it Jason Todd, or they might call it Dick Grayson.
Richard
or
Grayson.
Whatnot. But, as much as I would love to see Dick Grayson as, like, Nightwing in this universe, I'm not quite sure it's going to happen. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, no, it's based off Dark Knight Returns, so it has to be Jason Todd. I mean, if you're Snyder, you're not going to put a costume in there and not have it be Jason Todd. I don't know.
Pretty much. I agree with that.
I say that too, but again, I would just point to the idea that we're in an age where, like, adapting a comic book is not really what's happening. It's more of just taking elements from a comic. I wouldn't be surprised if, again, it's ambiguously a Robin outfit and it's just kind of putting to the idea that he had a sidekick and then Joker killed him and that's when he hung it up, because he was teaching someone his crusade, they died, and he gets very bat mopey. He gets fat.
One of the reasons
he gets cool.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the reasons he's retired, I guess, is his failure.
He got that letter from the Joker too. You let your family die.
Yeah,
you let your family die.
And that's
Joker in prison.
That's interesting because that would imply that Joker knows who he is, which.
Yep.
Yeah, he does know who he is. They've been together for years.
As I suggested, I think there might be like Batman. We're overlooking the fact that Batman might have like a P.O. box for fan mail.
Or he could just know the location of the Batcave and have somebody else in it.
That's true. That's actually very
maybe.
Possible.
I'm just saying because the article is of a Wayne Enterprises building, and I don't see him just sending Batman like a Wayne Enterprise building saying, "I know that you're associated with Wayne Enterprises. Your family's dead." I think it just seems more plausible right now that Joker maybe somehow knows who he is, and even in the trailer, Batman seems a little like taken aback, like. Wait, what the fuck? Like, he doesn't know.
Or it could be Red Hood that sent him that.
Yep.
That's the other theory I've heard is, like, a lot of people are saying Red Hood.
I'm not...
But, I guess to kind of wrap this up, what was your guys' favorite moment from the trailer?
Oh, we didn't talk about Wonder Woman either. She's in there.
Oh, that's true. So. Wonder Woman was there.
Awesome.
She was actually in action.
Yeah, she caused a shockwave.
I don't know if that was her. I said in the breakdown I would be shocked if like clinking her gauntlets together causes like a nuclear blast.
No, that was during the fight with Doomsday, though, right there.
That's what I figured.
But what was Doomsday doing to have done that? Like last time I checked, he had no energy blasts.
Yeah, he has heat vision too.
This version might.
Lend me your energy.
I don't know.
Wonder Woman's gonna do a spirit bomb.
But no. Yeah, Wonder Woman actually, she was, like, next to the fact that we actually got to see Ben Affleck's Batman in action and Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne in action, I think the biggest pull from this trailer was Wonder Woman. She got a lot of chance to shine. We got to see Gal Gadot in the costume, which I think looked fantastic. She really, honestly to me, she looks like Wonder Woman, despite the fact that I honestly still had gripes, just like I had gripes about Eisenberg's Luthor. They've both kind of grown on me. The more I've seen it. What did you guys think of Wonder Woman in the trailer?
She's cool. Looked like Wonder Woman. Cool.
Yeah, like
that passes the test.
I mean, I didn't hear her say anything, so I mean, I'm assuming that I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, we didn't even really hear Superman say anything, so it could have just been
Aquaman in the trailer too.
Yeah, Aquaman as a child.
Totally.
Scuba mask.
God damn it.
Finding his Superfriends.
One day.
Also, it's cool to see
like,
a comedian confirmed as Thomas Wayne too. Awesome.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was that's just
now
a perfect
we just
role.
need Flashpoint.
I mean,
and we need him as Flashpoint cool. Batman.
See, that's why he's perfect for that, is because I could totally see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Earth 2 Thomas Wayne. I think he's the perfect guy if they ever want to make an Earth 2 movie in some alternate
that would be
universe.
Pretty cool. But
yeah.
In an alternate universe where Earth 2 is their main universe, they make a movie about.
And then we have Earth 3 where everything's backwards.
Ooh, they're stealing our ideas right now.
But,
yes, they're listening to this. They're going to make these movies.
Go ahead.
They're the NSA.
Favorite moment.
Favorite moment. Yes. What's your favorite moment from the trailer? Anybody have one off the top of their head?
I think I know. And it's pretty much just the very end. It's oh no, you know what? That's not even it. It's a special scene because I love it for its imagery. It's Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, like with Superman kneeling down to him, and it's like that whole smirk and just the whole like hatred gaze at Superman. It's like, this is totally the rivalry. This is it. We're seeing it.
Yeah, Superman's like, motherfucker, I have broken necks. Don't make me make you number 2.
I'm not afraid of the rat on your head.
Exactly. Your obviously fake wig.
No,
so
McKinley,
real
what was
hair. IRL hair.
Yeah.
McKinley, what did you think?
See, I'm like a little torn. I have 2 scenes that really like tie closely together. Technically, it's probably 3.
Oh, come now, don't cheat.
If I were to pick my all favorite, just because I'm a Superman fanboy, I'll lay it out there. It'd be the one where Superman's being glorified as God, basically, when the person leaves the symbol on the little boat and is just staring up, kind of like from the teaser, but the whole thing, that whole little scene, just that, the art, like, beautiful view of it is what I think is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if
Very
it wasn't going to be
Snyder.
that, it would definitely be the Heat Vision Superman and Batman dodging it, because that looks so smooth. Looks so smooth.
Yeah, I really love the like Snyder peppered this trailer with like references to like the OG Superman shield. I don't know if it was like intentional or not, but I like to think that it was on the building, kind of the OG Superman shield. On the protest signs, it was the OG Superman shield. But yeah, so Nick, what was your favorite moment from the trailer?
I probably the Jason Todd thing, but like any scene that Bruce Wayne was in was like awesome. Just because Affleck is like perfect as Bruce Wayne, so
Affleck is buying into this. He's giving it everything he's got. It seems like. Personally, I'm kind of gonna like run off what McKinley said. My favorite moment, and I've said this to anyone that'll listen. My favorite moment is Batman using the fucking grapple gun to get away from the heat vision. I don't think I've ever, and honestly, like in any comic book movie, that is probably one of the most like comic book movie scenes that's one of the most comic book scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
the suit looked so good in action.
He even strikes a Dark Knight Returns pose, which is awesome.
Yes, that was fantastic. So that, like, I think we all can agree, BVS trailer, fantastic. One of the highlights, if not the highlight of this weekend. The other big trailer that was released was The Suicide Squad, and that unfortunately was, kind of hush-hush, was supposed to be kept under wraps because they're still filming. Literally, they flew the cast in from Toronto the day they were in Hall H and then flew out that night to go back to Vancouver to shoot some more.
Right.
Not literally shoot if the trailer made you think otherwise, but they had to film. And then the leaked stuff leaked out that same day. People put it on the internet and were watching it like crazy. And of course, they had said that they weren't going to release it because it's still very early on, and it was only for Hall H. And then, of course, today they released it with a message about anti-piracy or some such nonsense. And then everybody got to experience the joy of it. I mean, yesterday. Did I say today? They released it today. They released it
yesterday. Yeah.
Yesterday, I know. They punished us by giving us exactly what we wanted. So.
I was such a bad fan.
Well, I don't think it was nonsense. I mean, to be frank, I think that the footage should have never been released. I mean, that was a Hall H exclusive, but I mean, obviously they wanted it. At the point it was at, people had already pirated it, so they're like, well, we'd rather people see it in HD, So honestly, I think that was a whole nother discussion. I think that stuff is, with this age of social media, it's kind of getting like out of hand.
Yeah, I've got to go with like Gail Simone's her tweet about it. It's like, oh no, the thing that we didn't want to leak leaked, or the thing that we showed to a room with 6,000 people that all had, handheld recording devices leaked. Whatever could we have done to stop this calamity? Who could have foreseen such tragedy? I agree. I think it was a great thing for Hall H, and honestly, I will say, like, for something that was just supposed to be shown proof of concept, like, I think the two situations are very similar in Apocalypse and Suicide Squad. They both are pretty early on in filming. Suicide Squad is a little bit farther. But Apocalypse's trailer was definitely, like, proof of concept.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there wasn't a ton of stuff. It honestly isn't. It probably looks nothing like the finished product. But Suicide Squad, for something that's still filming, looks incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my god, like, can we just, initial gut feel reaction, can I get a hell yeah for that trailer, right? Hell yeah. Yeah. But, not only did it sell a lot of people on the model, although there's, a whole other conversation we could have about, the tone that people thought it was going to be versus the tone that this trailer was. But I think, for an unfinished product, they're not even done shooting all of the scenes, the variety of, what we got, the polish of what we got was, honestly, it looked like it could be coming out in a month. That is how good it looked. Honestly, I will say better than the final Fantastic Four trailer.
Well, that's not hard. I mean, come on.
All of its post-production added color correction
trailer,
nonsense.
The CG looks terrible, and the movie's coming out in like 2 weeks.
Trash bag, green, radioactive, leaking. Yeah, but
I know, it was it was so jarring too. Like, just the last thing we'll say about Fantastic Four, like all the green that they added in weird places just stood out as very strange.
If I may intrude,
didn't have green.
If I may intrude, my only one thing, even though I love the teaser, it kind of threw me off the way the music was. It's very articulate, and whenever it kind of like tripped me out when I was watching it because the music was so slow, yet all the scenes were going so fast. Like that was my only complaint because it just because it messed me up. But other than that, it was good tease.
I think it was a nice juxtaposition. I think you've got this very beautiful kind of moving song, and I think the assumption is that it's Harley's song for some reason. The assumption is it's Harley's song, but the juxtaposition of like these villains, these crazy freaking bad people, and they're shooting stuff up and there's action happening and the Joker is on the loose, which I think is the explanation, and Batman's on top of the fucking car and Harley's saying hope you got insurance, and people are shooting up 7-Elevens or science labs, I couldn't tell which, and there's this beautiful slow operatic song in the background. I'm not sure what it says about the tone of the movie, but I think it was a nice backdrop, and visually I think we all kind of
I just kind of want to say in terms of the music and everything and just the tone in general before we just kind of move on with just our reactions of it. It's just everybody had this idea that it was going to be Guardians, like James Gunn, and people seem to forget that James Gunn is not directing this. David Ayer is directing this, and there was no reason to expect it to be like Guardians. There was no reason to expect it to be this wacky kind of comedy. These are bad guys. In Guardians, they were lovable rogues, which is fine, but these are bad guys. These are murderers. These are horrible people.
Yeah, these aren't anti-heroes. These are villains.
Yeah, which we'll probably also discuss. There's a couple scenes in this trailer that seem to say that they're not, but
Yes, so I'm gonna ask a different question for this one than I did for the other ones. I'm gonna ask you guys, who did you think was the star of this trailer? Who shined the most? I think there are probably in my mind a short list of 3 or 4 candidates.
Well, that's easy. El Diablo for sure.
No, Slipknot. Slipknot was the
Slipknot.
He was in the movie.
No, he was in it though.
I mean, he was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He got his.
We got a nice shot of cannon fodder, but
Yes, but yeah, Luke, let's go to you. Who was your star?
Man, Harley, definitely.
Putting you on
Harley, she gets. I think
Harley
they do all the kind of montage of all the different characters, but Harley, they always kind of go back to Harley, kind of hanging in that cage. They do the whole. I think she had the most lines actually in the trailer. The whole are you the devil? They were quick things are you the devil, or you better have insurance or something. They had her.
No, Will Smith, Deadshot has.
So what?
If you
with
count,
some kind of Suicide Squad. Yeah, that's a great line.
Or the Petsies.
Yeah. But no, Harley was definitely I think the kind of focus point of this trailer, and for good reason, because people are really. I think Will Smith, yeah, he's Deadshot, but I mean this is Harley. We're getting Harley for the first time in a movie. People want to see what she's like, and from what I'm seeing,
yeah, we're getting Deadshot for the first time.
Yeah, no one cares about Deadshot. We care about Harley.
Poor Floyd.
Actually, no, Amanda Waller had the most lines in the trailer, to be honest. But.
That's what true. I think. So McKinley, who was your star?
Going off of what Luke said, I agree that Harley was the focal point and could be said the star, but I think the breakout star might have been. You already know.
Oh, I was going to interject that you don't really. This isn't an objective thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I agree with that though. I agree that she is the star, but the breakout star is Joker. I think that's where everyone kept talking about after.
That's a good.
I think she was the star, but he is the breakout star. He's what everyone kept talking about.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you.
I'm gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
Really bad. Oh my God, we're
geek. Correct term, sir. Sweaty election.
Trekker, not Trekkie. No. So Nick, who is your star?
Well, obviously Joker. I mean, that's what everyone was waiting for. Literally the whole trailer. They're okay, when's the Joker gonna show up? So, I mean, he was the main character that you wanted to see.
You mean the
I think
the 3 cackles, not a full laugh.
No, oh my God! I literally watching that trailer, and you can go watch the reaction. I literally, as soon as I heard the laugh, It was just eyes just immediately shot open. It was like, whoa. He's
he commands
here.
a presence. We'll give him that.
Yes. I will say I'm a little worried because if the rumors are true about just what the role of the Joker does to people, like that, I hope the rumor about Ayer having a psychologist on set is true. You know, get that man to therapy.
No, he hasn't got out of character on set.
Method.
Yeah, he sent people fucking rats and a pig.
Well, it wasn't. What's funny is like when you say like rats. Okay, pig. It's like people eat pig every day. But when he says rats, it wasn't like he sent them like it's like, here kids, here's a sack of rats. Go crazy. It was he sent. I think it was Margot Robbie a pet rat that she could have. Yeah. And it was, you know, it's adorable. Apparently, it's a mascot.
Damn clickbait.
I'm actually, yes, I'm gonna go a different route for. I'm gonna go a different route, you know, for my star. I'm actually gonna say the person that honestly impressed me the most in Joker is a close second. Margot Robbie is an even closer third. Is Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, she didn't have a long way to go to, like, convince me, but, like, I don't want to say, like, Ayer and DC did, that they were going to, like, they had a long way to go to convince me that they were going to be true to the character, but, you know, I really wanted to see if it was going to be Waller or if it was going to be kind of like, you know, a bootleg Waller. But no, this is, Viola Davis establishes early on, and Ayer establishes early on, this is Amanda Waller.
Was the bootleg Waller in the Green Lantern movie?
Yes. Bootleg Waller, unfortunately, was...
well, she was better than the Green Lantern one, though. Like, I didn't even realize that was Amanda Waller at first.
I mean, that wasn't hard. Because, well, I mean, I'm glad you say that, because I don't think people were really too focused on Waller, which I don't know why you wouldn't. She's the wall, damn it. But, yeah.
God damn it, she
is. The
the
minute she spoke, I was just like... That's just Amanda Waller. Like, everyone else, I kind of saw the actor behind them. I just saw Amanda Waller when she was, like, talking.
Well, I mean, to me, it wasn't even just what she was saying, because what she was saying was perfect. It's, you know, and the guy kind of pauses, they're bad guys. Like, he just realized, he was like, so they're bad guys, right? And she was like, exactly. You know, they take the fall for us. But it was the way she carried herself, the way she was she was handling these military men. Like, she was clearly, like, putting them, you know, you could just tell from the way they were sitting in relation to her that she had them off guard.
Yeah.
I like the dialogue that was between her and Harley.
That's
the whole, are you the devil?
Yes.
All you need to know is you work for me. I was like, ooh.
She knows she is not a
she's Big
not
Papa.
a good person.
Yeah. You just
and that is
you just feel the amount of care that she does not have for these people, that they're just expendable.
She does not give a fuck. Exactly. That's Waller. So Waller for Prez.
Oh hell no. Oh hell no.
She would get everything in order.
She would at a cost.
Exactly. She'd tighten it all up. But okay, so Suicide Squad trailer, of course, hit. I don't know if we want to go into a deep discussion about ethics and, you know, people recording things at Hall H. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about on Suicide Squad trailer?
It shouldn't have been released. No,
You guys
literally
wanna
it shouldn't have. Though. Like, people
let's
wait
talk about
overnight for that. I mean, come on.
That's true. Let's talk about the tone for a little bit. I know a lot of people were expecting, as was said earlier, funny, a James Gunny type tone. Do you guys think the tone was right?
Yeah, it was perfect. I mean, I don't know why
I should say also, like, do you think the tone was right, and do you think this is the tone it'll carry into the movie?
Yes to both, because it's a movie about a team of supervillains, and it's David Ayer directing, and it's a Warner Brothers DC movie. It's not a Marvel movie. They're not going to be cracking one-liners. There's not going to be, like, you know, lighthearted music going on in the background, you know, so... I mean, come on.
Like, it just in terms of humor, like, if there is humor in this movie, I think everyone's been saying for a while, just to kind of counteract the whole, like, one-liner thing, like, it's dark humor, because what other kind of humor would these guys use? I would say, if anyone's gonna be just, like, funny, maybe in, like, inappropriate moments, or just, like, inappropriately funny, I would assume Harley should at least be bubbly during scenes where it's just, like, gruesome or otherwise gritty. But yeah, like, I'm fine with the tone. I don't know if this is going to be the tone that we're going to get, like, full on through. I think that I do think there's going to be a little bit more humor than the other DC movies, but I do think it's going to stay kind of like dark and kind of sort of gritty, because kind of what was said before, these are supervillains, these are murderers, these are psychopaths. We're not dealing with like roguish like people. These are just definite bad guys.
I think honestly, I think it's too early to tell, but I can only assume that, of course, the funny people will be Joker or Harley, but I don't think anything will be like directly humorous. Like we might have like some interesting dialogue between like Deadshot and Boomerang, like they usually do, or like with Waller addressing the squad, and we, the audience, might think it's funny, but it won't be intentionally funny. It'll be subtle humor.
Yeah. That's kind of what I expect. I mean, as me and Nick talked about on a recording that unfortunately was left on the cutting room floor, the David Ayer movies, they're not 100% serious. I mean, they're not like 100% comedies, but there is, I would say it's probably more about like 80 to 90% serious, and there's a lot of subtle humor mixed in throughout. I mean, End of Watch had some of those moments. Fury even had some moments where it was funny, but it was more like kind of humor in the juxtaposition, I guess you could say. It wasn't like somebody's cracking one-liners, as you said. It was more subtle and created humor naturally through the film.
Right.
Rather than kind of inserted, you could say. However, I will say as well, I think yes to both, like Nick said. I think this will be the tone that carries through, maybe with less Harley opera, but we'll see. Yes. So
I won't say no to her little poses she be doing though. I will not say no to that.
No.
And licking the bars of the cage.
Dirty, grimy pole,
oh
where
yes.
she's probably got millions of diseases, but
yeah.
David
Ayer set up a thirst trap there, and we all fell for it.
And I know that we probably should move on, but I just kind of want to say right now, I like the trailer for the most part. My biggest problem right now is that it's really painting Deadshot to be like the one guy that's not a total bad guy, which I really don't like right now.
Welcome to Earth.
I really don't like that right now. It's just, yeah, he's got a daughter and he like hugs her, but at the time I'm just like, he kills people. He's a bad guy. Like, fucking, he's a bad guy.
That's another thing that like, that's another thing that me and Nick talked about in that recording that didn't quite make it. I think it would be, and Nick was saying that he thought it was like a flashback, and I was gonna say I think it would be even more like, not like necessarily like sinister, might not be like the best way to put it, but it would be even more like dark if that's like, oh yeah, he just got some time off for the mission, so he's gonna he's gonna do some Christmas shopping and hug his daughter goodbye, and then like literally 30 minutes later he's like sniping some motherfucker. Yeah, I would see that as like super like dark. It's like he's a family man, but he's a man that is he has no remorse about pulling the trigger.
Okay, I thought you were about to say, and 30 minutes later, the daughter gets killed and he's crying. I was like, oh no. That was the thing going through my head.
I mean, she might, who knows? Maybe the Joker is going to grab her at the end.
I'm just saying, Captain Boomerang better be the scummiest person on the entire team, because he usually is.
He kind of looks like it. I mean, I love the from the mutton chops to the Russian mobster tracksuit and overcoat combo. Just between that and the what they say about the crazy ones line.
But I'm not completely against the Deadshot stuff though. Like, because I mean, have you not seen that Disney movie, Wreck-It Ralph? Just because bad guy do not mean bad guy. But like, just because just because he kills Zangief between thigh. But just because he kills and has no remorse doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
He's just doing his job.
Yes, it's just like Deathstroke, just for the hit.
And I would argue then in that case, like they're really going back on what they said, that this is a movie about bad guys. If Deadshot is like a shining knight among all these bad guys, I would say if you give that role to anybody, give it to Katana. But
Well, I think Killer Croc too is going to be one of those characters that's more sympathetic and not like downright evil.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I think Nick, you were bringing up kind of like this harkens back to like the more original appearances of Killer Croc.
Yeah, I think he's like a mobster or something, or like he was kind of like a low life criminal, and I think I think on the movie he'll be kind of like the shy one of the group. That's kind of like, you know, he doesn't try to interact with a lot of people, and then Harley Quinn will be like making fun of him the whole time. Like,
I mean, you kind of get that feeling. I mean, because in the original comics too, I mean, of course he doesn't like his appearance, and this harkens back to the fact that it was I can't remember if it was a genetic condition or something gone horribly wrong, but I mean it was one of those things where he was very self-conscious, I guess you could say, about his appearance, and it's very clear that Adewale's Killer Croc is not going to be like the hulking Arkham Asylum Killer Croc. I mean,
at least size-wise, we don't know about strength.
He could, you know, if he flies off into a rage, you know, who knows? But I mean, it definitely seems like they're going for a more nuanced approach, which is what I kind of want from the movie. But yeah, so moving on, there's some more news to talk about, but the next biggest news, which is kind of funny to say that we've gone through the top two things, the next biggest, after it's kind of a precipitous drop, really. No, the next biggest news is, of course, the announcement that the Green Lantern film coming in 2020 will officially be titled Green Lantern Corps, seeming to confirm rumors that have been coming out over the last couple of weeks that it will focus not just on one Green Lantern, but on two or more. So guys, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Guy Gardner
awesome.
Guy Gardner.
Kyle Rayner, please.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, if
I'm
they
happy
can
about that, honestly.
If they can do what they did, like with what they did both in Green Lantern Corps, the Convergence tie-in, and now in Green Lantern Lost Army, Guy Gardner is somehow, by some magical miracle, becoming more acceptable to me and less hateable. Somehow.
Right.
I mean, Green Lantern Corps, he's literally like running around kind of double fisting lantern rings, right? So.
Yep. But even then, going back in, just step into the comics real quick.
Lost Army. Excuse me. Yes.
Just to quickly step into the comics real quick. Just reading the Green Lantern Corps run and seeing his relationship with his family really makes him more likable as well, at least in my opinion.
He gets a lot of hate. It's like that kind of group hate. A lot of it's just kind of hatred on the face of the character.
He's the scummy Green Lantern. He's like the Captain Boomerang of the Green Lantern.
He kind of is.
Nobody likes him.
You've got Hal, who's the dashing Han Solo-esque rogue. Then you've got John, who's the business-like and military man, who's always good on his word. And then you've got Kyle, who's the soulful artist type, who's damaged, whose girlfriend got killed. And then you've got Guy, who's
damaged.
just like damaged,
on his forehead,
written right on his forehead. But I mean, then you've got, a Guy who's just brash and
he had a bar in the 90s.
I mean, I'd love to see if they brought all of them in. That would be fantastic if they did. I don't think they will. Honestly, I think if we're doing a short list, I'm sorry for Kyle Rayner, but I think they probably would go Hal, John, and Guy. But I think they're just going to do Hal and John personally. So which Green Lanterns do you guys think they will use as the main characters of?
Sinestro, he'll be in there too.
Ooh, yes, absolutely. Cool. I feel like he'll be the sergeant, like Ice Cube from 22 Jump Street.
I hope the squirrel.
But if Ice Cube was actually behind it all,
or Kilowog again too, be awesome.
Kilowog,
I'd like
of course, he'll be
role.
there. Kilowog,
Tomar Ray,
without Michael Clark Duncan.
Yes. So, is there a Green Lantern that you guys in particular are hoping to see? Like, which of Earth's Green Lanterns are you most excited to show up in this movie?
John, just to see his first live action appearance.
Yes. Are you on the Tyrese train, or?
I'm not against it, honestly. As you can see when I defended by pointing out that he has been a Marine in a movie before. People, go watch it.
Right.
Yeah, it was Annapolis, whatever. Yeah.
Yes,
Annapolis.
And he did get in it. He did good.
I have not watched it.
Go watch it.
I'm most excited to see. Wait.
Go ahead.
Oh, Guy Gardner though. I'm already hyping it up. I'm like, I need to see Guy Gardner in live action.
Guy Gardner hype.
Yeah.
Oh man.
With Tom Hardy playing him would be awesome.
That'd be interesting.
Please be Tom Hardy, please.
My name's Guy. Nobody cared who I was until I got the bowl cut. Nobody cared who I was until I put on the vest.
They got all kinds of space women up in space. Guy, like, I prefer boys, Italian. I don't really judge.
No, he can't have the bowl cut. He's got to have the haircut.
Either bowl cut or get the hell out.
I actually know the long hair too from like Red Lanterns.
Bowl cut.
Or you can just go full out warrior from the 90s.
If he has that bowl cut, he fucking owns it.
That'd be great.
But
there you go. So Luke, are you on the John train or the Guy Gardner train?
I'm actually backing up Hal, mostly because I just want to see him. I want him done justice. I've been a big fan of Hal. Like, he's second to Kyle for me, so I've been like a big fan of him, and I want him done right this time. So it'll be just nice to see Hal actually done correctly.
Yeah, Chris Pine.
Yeah, I'll be fine with that.
Yes, I'm gonna say. I mean, I've got to agree with Luke. I think it's a shame that I'm rooting for Hal. There are a lot of great Green Lanterns, and honestly, I expect at least John and probably Guy as well to be in there. But I want Hal done right. Hal's one of my favorite characters. I'd really love to see him come to life. It's not really hard to do. It's not hard to get right, and I think they will eventually.
I would.
Hopefully, it's this movie and not the next reboot.
The next reboot. I would say, because again, the people seem to have caught on by now. I'm a big Kyle Rayner fan. I kind of agree with CJ's idea that Kyle shouldn't be in this. I would think that if they make a franchise out of Green Lantern, I would put Kyle in a movie. I would go ahead and just adapt the whole 0 Hour thing with Hal becoming Parallax and Kyle comes in and saves everything.
So you guys, now that we know which characters you want, let's go back around in that same order to which actor you would want to play them. All right, so Nick, who would be your dream casting for Guy?
I already said Tom Hardy all the way.
Tom Hardy all the way.
He is Guy Gardner, IRL.
I mean, especially if you read the stories about him on the Mad Max set and him fighting with George Miller on the set. Yeah. Guy Gardner all the way. So, Luke, I know the Chris Pine train is already a-rolling. They released concept art with the panel that looked suspiciously like Chris Pine, but are you on the Chris Pine train?
It is Chris Pine, confirmed already.
I really don't care. Like, any white bread actor who can do Hal.
See, Luke, I hate to break it to you, but this is why we ended up with the performance from Ryan Reynolds that we did last time.
Okay,
People were like, you can cast anyone, it'll be fine. He's milquetoast.
Fair point. I would go ahead and say I don't think that was Ryan Reynolds' fault anyway, but
no, it was not.
Again, I really don't care.
It was that damned Jeff Johns.
Damn Jeff Johns, who's doing our Batman movie. Damn it.
Who even directed Green Lantern? Who directed that movie?
I don't even know. Who cares?
Pretty sure it was the people who made Arrow, wasn't it?
Yui Ball.
Michael Green or something like that.
Oscar, the Yui Ball is for you. The Yui Ball reference was yours. You're welcome.
But the Arrow writers did write the screenplay, though.
That explains so much. But
this explains why Arrow is so serious.
But no, again, like, I don't really care. Like, Chris Pine, he's cool. Like, I'd be fine with it. Again, at this point, I really don't care who plays Hal. I just want someone to play him. Just give me Hal finally, please.
I'm gonna say Chris Pine, mainly because I honestly, and it's gonna sound a lot like Luke's explanation, but a little more nuanced. I think with Hal, you need someone that can play that dashing rogue. You need someone that can, kind of get the space cowboy aspects of his personalities. Hal is essentially the same character as, a lot of fan favorites. He's Han Solo. He's, Captain Mal. He's, especially in these new comics, he's like essentially both Han Solo and Captain Mal all in one. But, and I think Chris Pine kind of has that. I mean, Hal Jordan is basically Captain Kirk in green tights, so I think he can adapt that very well. It's a pretty easy transition. What'll become of the Star Trek franchise if Chris Pine actually has to leave it and go do Green Lantern will be interesting. So
hopefully die.
But I prefer Chris Pine playing Hal Jordan than I do Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
So McKinley, I guess we've come full circle.
We have come full circle.
Nobody cared who he was until he put on the beard.
Okay. For my casting that I would like, which will never happen, would of course be Idris as John.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be my
correct
happy
answer.
Yes. that cannot ever be false. Just to have that presence that he brings is what I wish. All I can do is hope that whoever takes John's shoes, even if it is Tyrese, has that presence that, hey, I take shit serious. Don't even though everyone is kind of getting okay with the Tyrese thing, I don't want him to be the what's the word? The comic relief. I don't want Jon Stewart to be that.
No, I don't want them to change the characters at all, because they could easily do that where they say, oh, Hal's the serious one. But no, please don't.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's really interesting to see, like, that's the first, this Idris Elba fan cast as, as Jon Stewart thing has been going on for so many years. I think for a lot of people it's hard to imagine someone else as Jon Stewart. And so I really like thinking back, if anyone else gets cast, they've automatically probably drawn the ire of a good percentage of fans. I mean, I'm thinking back to like the last few like major castings, and I think it's like, you look at Batman, it's like, oh, who's going to play Batman? It's like, well, we could have Josh Brolin, or we could have someone else. I really can't think of a good choice. And it's like, okay, we cast Ben Affleck. It's like, everyone's like, I mean, some people are like, shit, he was bad in Daredevil. I mean, but most people were like, okay, like, fine, we'll wait and see. That's okay. That's acceptable. Yeah. With Harley, it's like, who are we going to cast as Harley? Well, we could do this, or we could do this, or we could do this. And then they cast Margot Robbie, and everyone's like, holy shit, that's perfect. And, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, a lot of these comic book roles, you don't have someone that's, like, perfect in the fan's mind. You have people that might fit or could fit, but, I mean, so rarely do, is there, before the choice is made, someone that's this perfect, like Idris Elba is for John. And so DC has an uphill battle. I'm sure that's why they're delaying. They're trying to. It's like, Idris, come be John. Stop being Heimdall.
Yeah.
And I know that we probably need to wrap up, but I just want to say one thing real quick. Just what your idea, guys? Because Green Lantern Corps is coming out. It's going to be like a movie. It's going to involve the whole Corps. Who's the villain? Like, what's the threat?
It's Sinestro Corps War.
No, it's going to be hot gas parallax again.
If I could throw this,
how about the Guardians for like the last 5 events?
That would be it. I would throw this out of left field just because I don't know if they're going to use them in one of the Justice League movies, but if they want to,
the Manhunters,
like if they want to set them up, I would say go ahead and do the New Gods, or like introduce the New Gods in the Green Lantern movie.
That'd be tight.
No, George Miller directing New Gods movie.
George Miller.
Oof. That would be even better.
Oof. I have another one. How about, because they're referencing the prequel comic to Man of Steel, how about the Thanagarians?
That'd be really cool as well.
Again, that would be a nice way to like maybe introduce Hawkman.
Space Cop versus Space Cop.
Yeah, it would be a nice way to introduce Hawkman.
But, okay. So, we've probably got to wrap up in a few minutes, but before we do, we actually had one more piece of news.
No, we got to wrap up.
Well, I know. I'm going to, like, literally, you're going to be fine with this when I break it down. The one piece of news that we didn't get to was Green Arrow's costume revealed for Season 4. So I want you guys to each give me one word to describe Stephen Amell's new costume for Green Arrow Season 4. Nick.
Good.
McKinley.
That wasn't a word, but it was a word.
He was just eaten by a giant centipede. McKinley.
He's green.
Amazing.
Amazing. Luke.
Finally.
And my word is short sleeves. So, that's 2 words. So, yes, that is where we will leave you. So, overall thoughts on SDCC seem resoundingly positive from everyone. It was definitely DC's year. So, yes. Any final words, everyone? Any last words, guys?
DC Nation.
DC Nation.
BVS Trailer 3-1.
Yes.
I'm going to hurt you really, really bad.
And on that somewhat scary note, we must say goodnight. So, signing off, this is CJ. Here with McKinley, Nick, and Luke.
Yeah,
we'll see you next year.
We're alive still.